Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Between Sermons. If you're new around here, don't know who I am, my name is Brent, and I'm the lead pastor at Disciples Church. And this whole podcast, it's really designed to just kind of turn that monologue from Sunday's sermon into a dialogue, into an actual conversation where we can get a little bit into some deeper understanding and application of what we're talking about. And so since this is a conversation, though, I am needing some help. I need somebody to talk to. And so, as always, I'm joined by two people. The wonderful Ti'heasha Beasley, our co-host of
Yay.
Between Sermons. And how you doing today?
I'm good.
Yeah?
I'm feeling better. It's my birthday week, so I'm already lit.
Yeah, we discovered that you and our dog have the same birthday. And so it's just really,
The way he said it. But it's true. It's Duffy's birthday.
It's
I like
Duffy's
Duffy.
birthday. Yeah,
I mean,
so
we have a growing
You
relationship.
tolerate.
I tolerate Duffy.
On Friday, I'll be like, Duffy, happy birthday.
It's on Thursday.
Thursday.
Thursday, not Friday. Is Friday the 4th?
Yes.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah,
time flies.
it does.
Thursday, I'm going to be like, Duffy, happy birthday. And, oh yeah, Ti'heasha too.
Okay, so how you doing, sister?
I'm doing great. I'm gonna be calling you at
Thank you.
midnight.
Thank you.
12.00.
Before you tell Duffy happy
Yes.
birthday. Thank you.
Before
We'll
he
see.
licks my
We'll
face.
see if that happens.
Yeah.
Before he licks my face, I'm gonna say happy birthday, Ti'heasha.
Thank you.
Sure.
Probably I will be asleep, but
Right. No, it's a good week, and it's always good when I have my sister here joining me, Pastor Sol.
Hey.
How you feeling? You look good in this pink, girl.
Thank you.
I love
Thank
it.
you. I like bright colors.
Yes.
I
I
should
went for
just
the funeral vibe.
apparently I like all of the highlighters. Like if you see a highlighter, you're like, yeah, she will wear that color.
Yes, I love it. You got the matching shoes. I wish you would have texted me though, so I would have wore pink with you.
Oh, it's just pink is always the right color
Man,
to wear.
I'm
Like
still
it's
in-
always the
I
answer.
know. I'm still in fall, and you're in winter. No, you're in the DC merch that.
I wore what you gave me.
Yeah, in the DC merch.
Yes, yes.
So you're swagged out. Okay. But no, we are so excited. This was the last Sunday that we talked about getting the game. How you
Yes.
feeling? Because I know getting the game is kind of like your baby. Tell us how excited you were for yesterday.
I was very excited. I was very nervous because I feel like I had a big task, right? Like
Yeah.
try to help people understand that serving and that really putting your gifts to work,
Yeah.
it's important, and also to have that that charge and that responsibility of today we're gonna be doing
Yeah.
something, so everybody is invited to participate.
Yeah.
So if you don't do a good job, then nobody participates and everything bombs. But praise God,
Yes.
it went well. No, I was very excited. I was very happy. I think that it is important for all of us as Disciples Church, and I think that church in general, like
Yeah.
the whole body of Christ, to get in the game, to start actually serving, to do something
Yeah.
to make a difference, and
Yeah.
that's what we want to see.
Yeah, you did a great job. I
thank
loved
you.
how you pulled out your props yesterday. It was a top tier experience.
Well, I just had to say props to Ruben for being so awesome. Like he was the MVP. I was like,
Yes.
Ruben, I have like a million things. I need somebody to bring him.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll do that. And
Yeah.
he did it flawlessly. So thank you so much, Ruben.
Yeah, it was good.
And I was looking at it. I'm like, is it too much? Am I being too much? People are going to be like, okay, she's just trying too hard over here. But
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
What was
Well-
your feedback?
We'll see when David sends it into Pastors with Props. We'll see what Instagram has to say about you and
what
your
about this
slippers
lady?
and your rocking chair. No, I think it was a great illustration of what it was like a silly way of drawing attention to how a lot of people behave with church, where church becomes this thing that I watch, I spectate, and I just want to be comfortable
That's good.
in that. And so I want to go to a church that makes me feel comfortable. I want to go to a service where I can just sit and be comfortable and enjoy. And really, like when you read the Bible, like that's not what church was supposed to be about. Like I think one of the things that you kind of alluded to that, man, one day we're going to do like a whole series on this, but there's like 60 times in the New Testament where we're instructed to do something for one another. Like, it's like serve one another, love one another,
Yes.
care for one another, bear one another's burdens. Like, there's all of these one another instructions, but you can't do that in isolation. Like, the only way you can actually fulfill these 60 commands in the New Testament is to get around other people. And I think there's a lot of people at churches all over the world that they neglect the one another because they're just coming to take
Yeah.
from church.
And I think that I was gonna say something and I don't even know now if I want to go there, but
Do it.
We do it on this show. We go there.
Listen, like, I love you, okay? But I think that a lot of times the biggest voices for criticism and the biggest voices for the nitpicking and everything that happens in a ministry or in a church are those who are doing nothing.
Ooh.
Are the people that are sitting down just looking and saying, well, the worship wasn't good, or, oh, the lights weren't working, or they didn't have enough people in the parking lot. I had to park my own car. I had to, and it's like, okay, but what are you doing? How are you using your gift to help? So I think that sometimes we are very good at noticing needs, but not very good at putting our hands to work. And I think that that's something that we need to shake off, because if we're going to be serving one another, then that means that we are here to make things better together.
Yeah.
It is not about you do it. Like there was trash out there. Well, why nobody else is picking it up, right?
Right.
Like, why does it have to be just one person's job when we are all supposed to be working in this together? And I think that that's the danger when you fall into this comfortable space that you just want to sit here and look at everybody else and what everybody else is doing or not doing, what you prefer or not prefer. And that's when criticism can start and takes root, and then you're just getting to be the one that points the finger instead of being the one that is rolling up the sleeves and saying, let's do this.
Yeah.
Like, if I see a need, instead of just complaining about it, let's see how we can make it better. Maybe I have something that can help. And I think that it is just that change in our mindset and in our heart. Like, I am not here to evaluate. I am here to serve.
Yeah. No, that is so good. I think this morning we were talking in a staff meeting, and one of the people on the team said it was a very convicting message.
Praise God.
In a good way. And I mean, you kind of, just your opening now is, I could just see your passion behind just wanting to see people move and get connected. Do you feel that when it's time to step up and serve, should someone step up and serve in a department they feel like needs their service, or should they follow like a talent or a passion that they have?
I think they're both.
Okay.
I think that everything depends. I mean, you don't want to be in the children's ministry if you really are not tolerant of little kids, with boogers and tears and all of that stuff, right? Like, so I think that in a way, you have to follow your giftings. Absolutely. But I think that there's something said about just being able to just serve wherever is needed. So here at Disciples Church, we try to make it super easy and try to make the person who is serving to really be in control, right? Like, you are behind the wheel of your own serving experience. By that, I mean, if you can only serve once a month, that's cool. Like, we are not going to force you. No, you have to serve 50 times, this year. Like, no, like, we understand that also people have things. So if you say, I can only serve once a month, or I can only serve one Sunday, or I can only do this much or at these times, we try to be very accommodating. And I think that as far as your giftings, I think that every single department can benefit from all of the gifts. You cannot say, well, because it's worship, they don't need an admin. No, they do. Like, not just because you hear the word worship department doesn't mean that you only need singers. You also need somebody who can care for the people on the worship team. So if you have the gift of hospitality, being somebody that is just welcoming them, making sure that they are well taken care of, all of that is needed. Somebody that is an administrative, to have everything in order, to be able to help get all of the microphones in order and all of the things in order. Like, you need that. So not sometimes you hear the ministry and you just equate it to one thing when all of our gifts are necessary. You hear children's ministry and you say, well, maybe they won't need me because I am more of a an admin again. You could say an admin. Like, no, you need somebody that will be able to help at the reception desk, making sure that all of the tags are ready, and making sure that all of the computer. Like you say, okay, I like tech. Well, the children's ministry uses, proper center as well, and so it doesn't matter what your gifting is. You can use your gifting by following your passion at the same time.
Oh, that's good.
So I think that you cannot just put your gift or the ministries in a box and think that they are isolated things. I think that every ministry can use any gift that you have.
Yeah, I think what's kind of fun about this whole process is, like, there are places where I had served because there was a need, not because I had a love or a passion or desire to serve in that area. But what I notice over time is, like, when you're serving in that place, you begin to develop a love and a passion for what you're doing. And so, like, there's been a few times in my life, children's ministry, one of them, I was like, I'm not the right fit for children's ministry. I don't even know how much I like kids. That's just, I don't know if this is the right spot. And there was a need in children's ministry, so I filled the need. And over time, it was like, no, actually, this is kind of awesome. I kind of love this. When we were in Lyle working at a thrift store, I was like, what do I know about thrift stores and food pantry, primarily for a homeless community in that area? I was like, I'm not good with homeless people. Like, that's just not my gifting. That's not where I'm best suited. Man, over the course of a year, all of a sudden it was like, man, I love these guys, and being able to talk with them every day, like, this is awesome. I love this. And so it's like, sometimes the need drives the conversation, and sometimes your passions will drive the conversation. I don't think there's a wrong answer to that.
Yeah.
But I do think that, like, what you're getting at is, when you find the place where you want to be, or where you're needed, then you need to serve within your giftings.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, there was a season, we had somebody on the worship team years ago that could not sing and could not play an instrument. It's like, the worship team is probably the wrong place for them. Right. It was the perfect place for them. They were extremely administrative. They ran all kinds of stuff behind the scenes.
Wow.
They were sending out the emails, getting the volunteers to be able to know their parts and get in on things. And it was like, that person was such a blessing to the worship pastor at the time, because they were able to fill a need that he had. And so it's one of those things where it's like, okay, would you have chosen somebody that doesn't sing and doesn't play an instrument and say, worship team, that's where you belong? Like, no. Now, they were serving within their giftings. That means they were never holding a microphone on the stage, right? Because that would have not been serving within their skill set and their giftings. And so I think that's, it's kind of a fun process of figuring out how God has wired you and where you fit best and how you can meet a need using what God has given you.
I think that's really encouraging. I'm even thinking from a perspective of a leader of a team, like, not just looking for people with a talent set of, like, what you feel like is obvious. Like, for example, I'm over the social media team. I'm thinking, like, you got to know content, you got to know strategy, you got to know how to get the angles. I never thought about like, if someone was interested and they had administrative giftings, like, how can I use them?
They can be the ones making your calendar. Like, you have to record by this time. Like, they are keeping everybody else on task.
Yeah. So I think it's an encouragement both ways, even from the leader perspective on how to utilize everyone. So that's good.
I've seen teams where there was a member of the team that their gifting was, they're just really good with people and making, like, a warm atmosphere. And so, like, that was their job on the team.
Wow.
Like, their entire job on the team was to welcome other people onto the team and to be that face of the ministry. And it was like, but, like, all the ministry tasks and stuff, they just weren't suited for. And that was fine. There was other people on the team for that. And so I think you figure out what God has placed inside you, the way you're wired, the way you operate. And we go through all that in Growth Track. Especially in step 2, we talk about how your design reveals your destiny, like how God has wired you actually shows you what you should be doing. And we took from Rick Warren, he used this acronym SHAPE, spiritual gifts, heart, ability, passion, and experiences. Those 5 things are woven together to kind of really show who you are as a person. And so you take those 5 things and you look at our ministry list and you go, okay, I think this works.
Yeah. That's awesome. I loved how you shared the story of Kelsey, your daughter. And just tell us a little, because I want to kind of use that to segue into another question. She came to you after the message yesterday and she asked you a question.
Yeah, so we were in bed and just kind of just lounging, right? And she comes and she's like, so how do I know which one is my gift? She's like, because like you were saying, you know, that we all have to work on our gift, but how do I know which one is my gift? Because I am kind and I am caring and I am good with people. So how do I know which one is my gift so I know what to serve?
Right.
And apparently when new kids come to DC Kids in the elementary age class, and they are kind of nervous about, you know, it's the first time, they don't know what to do, they don't know where to go. Apparently, they bring the girls to Kelsey. So she's like, they always bring them to me. Like, I am good at helping them, you know,
Right.
see the room and feel comfortable. She's like, so how do I know which one is my gift to use it?
Yeah.
So I was telling her, well, that means that you are actually using your gift, you know, because you already said that you're kind and you're friendly and all of these things. Like, you are using all of it. But something that I told her that is very important is that you don't only have one thing that you can do. There might be so many things that you have that God has gifted you with, and different type of personality that you have. So in all of that, you can mix and match at different times, right? Because she also serves sometimes with the babies, and she helps care for the babies. So it's I think that it is a good thing for you to understand that it is not just you have one thing and one thing only that you can do. So if you don't find it, you will never be fulfilling your purpose. No, there's a lot of things inside of us that we can use to advance the kingdom, to be able to put our gifts to work. But I think that a lot of people get stuck in the, I'm supposed to have one thing. Which one is my one thing? No, you probably have a lot of little things that combined can make something beautiful. So I think that it is important. But it was just so cute. She's like, I wanna use my gift, but I don't know which one is my gift. Which one of all of these things?
Yes. No,
I like all of them.
Yeah, I so thought that was cute. But even like at the, you know, we had a DC Teams Fair, I saw that same thing with some of our adults. Like I'm going to talk to you, and then I'm going to talk to that team over here. So how should we encourage members to maneuver those spaces? Should they serve on more than one team? What would you encourage them to do?
Yeah, so I use a line in our growth track that ministries are like shoes. You gotta find the pair that fits.
Okay.
Right, like the pair you like, the pair that fits, that works well, and that may mean trying on a pair, walking around for a little bit, and going, you know what, this kind of pinches my toes. Not really sure this is the right fit for me.
Yeah.
Awesome. Trying a different pair.
Yeah.
The only thing we want is nobody walking around barefoot at Disciples Church.
Did you just come up with that?
No. That's literally what we teach.
We have said that in Growth Track for a long time.
For a long time. Yeah. I actually stole it from the people that created Growth Track. It was I was in a breakout session with one of the guys, and he's like, yeah, we just don't want people being barefoot. And I'm like, got it.
That's good.
It makes sense now.
Yeah, that is.
So if somebody's like, look, I got like 2 or 3 different options. I don't really know where I fit best.
Yeah.
Try them all out. It doesn't mean you have to continue serving in all those teams. Although we do have members of our teams that are like, I serve in DC Kids a couple times a month. I also serve as a greeter a couple times a month, and I love being able to do both. It's like, cool. All right. You know, we want to make sure you don't get burned out.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that you stay healthy in serving. Because, you know, somebody did ask, I think it was online, they're like, you know, she's talking all about how we're supposed to serve and it's not about our comfort, but like, is there a space where we do need to like rest? And like the answer to that is absolutely, like 100%. What we need though is a rhythm of rest, because I think what ends up happening is people get into unhealthy cycles where there's no rest woven in, and that's when they burn out. And so you go 6 months with no rest, and then you need 6 months to recover.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. And then we also run into the issue where I've talked to so many people who are like, I told myself I was going to take 3 months to just relax. And they're like, and I'll be honest, that was 3 years ago.
Whew.
And it's like, yep. Because
you got comfortable.
You got comfortable and you had gotten burned out. And so I think that what we really need is a rhythm of rest, which is what the Bible illustrates. Jesus rested, God rested on the seventh day. Like, there was a rhythm of rest woven into society and the way that they operated. And I think that American culture is hit the grind and push and strive and make things happen. And So I think we're more prone to burnout than others are.
And I think that even further than that, I think that a lot of people wear burnout as a badge. Like look at all of the things I'm doing. I'm so tired. That means that I am so important. I am doing so much. I am amazing, and that's not right.
That's so good.
So you have to be able to rest. You have to be able to regain strength, and that's what I was saying yesterday. Like it is not about not resting. It is not about not having time to breathe or to regain energy. The problem comes when you make that your lifestyle.
Yeah.
And now I'm just gonna get comfortable because I actually realize that having people do everything for me
it's really nice.
It's quite awesome, right? So I think that is when the problem comes. It is not about resting. We all need it. It is important for our health. It is important for our mental health. Yeah. It is important just to be able to actually do things well. Like when you're tired, you are not performing at your best.
Yeah.
And when you're tired, I don't know about you people, but I get cranky. So even in my serving, it's like, okay, here you go, right? like you're not being as friendly and as kind as you could be as if you were rested. So I think that it is important for everything to be rested, have your energy, have that time where you can just decompress and regain fill the battery again, but don't make that your habit. Don't make that your I'm just resting, and then somebody else asks you to serve and you're like, I'm still resting. Like this is just my season of rest. That can be a problem.
I was gonna say, I've heard people say like, God isn't telling me to do anything, or this is my season of rest. Like, I mean, where's the line between like, okay, this is you, and okay, maybe God may be calling you to rest for a little bit, but like, where is that line? I don't know how I'm trying to communicate this, but I've heard it so much. When people say God told me, it's like you almost have to shut your mouth.
I am not going against whatever God told you.
Yes. God told you so, right?
Yeah, we call that pulling the God card. Okay. And I learned that from my dad years ago. He's like, when somebody pulls the God card, don't argue, don't fight. Like it's because in their mind, it was God.
Yeah.
And it may have been. It may not have been. It probably wasn't in a lot of these cases, is the way he puts it.
But if it was God, I am not going against God, right?
Right. So. If it is God, then who are you to object? And if they are fully convinced it's God, you're just a man. Like, how are you going to convince them that they didn't hear from God? So, like, pulling that God card. But, man, as soon as you said that whole piece of people are like, God just hasn't told me what to do, so I'm just going to take this as a rest. I call cap on that one. Like, that's just... Like, the Bible is filled with instructions for what you should be doing. Yeah. And so you don't actually need God to, in this moment, say, join the DC Kids team. Like, you are equipped, you are built, you are created for work. Yeah. Like, in the garden, the very first thing that Adam was supposed to do was work, to take dominion over the land. Right? In Ephesians, it talks about the work that was created in advance for you to do. Like, there is no such thing as, well, God just doesn't have anything for me to do. No, he's got work for you to do. You just don't want to do it.
Yeah. I was going to say there was so many scriptures you used yesterday that called us to be like to serve one another. Mm-hmm. So it almost seems like weird when people say like, I don't feel like God is not telling you to serve anybody. Like, consider your brother, your sister. And I think if we just look at it from that heart posture of like, it's not work, it's serving. And, maybe people don't understand the difference between like work, like making this feel like a job, and serving. Like, how could you encourage them to see it more as serving when they're serving in different community or spaces?
I would say seek God. I think that the closer that you are to God, the closer that the more that you are even praying about this, like, help me have a heart to serve. Because, like, serving can look a lot like work. Mm-hmm. And if you go at it with a mindset of, I just finished my 9 to 5 and now I'm going to have to go to church to work some more, it can be intimidating. It can be just like another task, like I don't want to do it, right? But when you start praying and asking God to give you a heart to serve, I give you a heart to use your gifts to bless other people. When you start seeing that what you do, it is not just another task, but it is enabling others who might never know of Jesus otherwise, who might be coming for the very first time and they are sick or they are in bondage to sin, and because of what you are doing, you are allowing them to get closer to the one who can set them free. When you see purpose in what you are doing and not just see it as a task, or I'm just here to push a button, I'm just here to open the door, like no, when you understand that what you do has eternal implications, your heart changes, right? You understand that it is not a meaningful task. It is something that you are doing for the kingdom, and that is going to help somebody to be set free, to find Jesus, to maybe they already know Jesus, but they have had a really bad week. They have had so many issues, and they just don't have hope at the moment. And because you were there smiling at them, because you were there to receive their kids so that they can go to service and be able to actually lift their hands and let it all at the altar, you are helping that person regain hope and rekindle their faith. Like, understanding that what you do is not more work, it's kingdom work. It's different. And I think that you just need to get closer to Jesus. You need to just pray and ask God to give you a heart that wants to serve him and serve his people. That he will help you see the people as he sees them, as somebody that they are worth so much. I think that if your heart is right, and if your heart is true, that's what you want to see, I think that God will turn your heart in a way that you didn't expect.
That's good.
Yeah, I just want to jump in with that. That creating this distinction is a little bit, I don't know, serving is work. Like there's a labor element to it, so it is work. It's not just work though, and I think that's what you're getting at there. Is that like there is an eternal impact. There's something beyond just the task, right? There is a task, right, which means it is work, right? But like when you're working your 9 to 5 for the paycheck, like at the end of the day, it's like, as long as I did the job, like that's all that really matters, because I'm just doing it to get paid. Like when you're doing work of the ministry, which is what scripture calls this, like there's an eternal impact happening. You're not doing it for the paycheck. You're not doing it even for yourself. You're doing it for God. Like it's work unto the Lord. Right. And so like, I think to say, well, serving isn't work. Well, I mean, it is. There's a work element to this. There's a task to be done, but it's so much more than just work. And the other thing I want to jump in with is this is actually what becomes really tricky and complicated for us in paid ministry, right? Because like there is a paycheck attached to our work, right? And so that's the thing that we've always tried to instill in our staff, and it's the thing that I try and lead by example with, is that there are some things that I do because I'm paid to do them. There's other things that I do as acts of service. That there are things that I'm doing as a volunteer, not because I'm getting a paycheck. And so like I run a discipleship group, not because I get paid by the church to do that. I do that because if I'm asking our people to do something at the end of their 9 to 5, like I would feel guilty of saying, well, you know, I've got my discipleship group tonight at 7, so I'm going to come into work late. It's like, well, they don't get that option. Like they don't get to go to work late because they're going to go to a church thing in the evening. So like I want to make sure that I don't blur these lines of now all of a sudden every time I'm at church, it's because I'm getting a paycheck for it. Sometimes I should be at church because I'm a member of the church. And I'm a volunteer in areas just like everybody else. And so like it's the hard like balance that we're always trying to find as staff members of a church. And I think it's funny because some people have this mindset of like, oh, if I could just work for the church, it'd be like there's no more work, and it's just, you know, it's praising God all day. And it's like, no, there's work. Like there's a lot of work to be done. But yeah, so that's the challenge that we have to have.
Like this is the next step to heaven. We're just sitting in the sanctuary like
It's really funny. I had a conversation.
Don't I wish.
So this is kind of sad. I probably shouldn't admit this, but we had a conversation with a friend the other day that used to work here, and she was like, you know, I think I pray at work more since not working at the church than I did working at the church. I'm like, girl, we pray at like every meeting. Like she's like, yeah, but it was like no, now, and I'm like, whatever, dude.
It is difficult.
It's different.
It's different to find that balance, but I do think you guys do a great job at leading in that way by example. So, I mean, there's no excuses for us. I just look at you before I complain. Like, wait, would Pastor Sol do that? Okay, no, she won't complain. So let me do it. So no, I love that.
I freak out internally.
You do.
And then
Mine's at home.
and then I'm like, it's no big deal.
I am still trying to learn how to freak out internally. No, I think these are really good. I think I want to spend a little bit of time on yesterday. We had this amazing DC fair, and for those who are watching that are part of Disciples Church, you're probably thinking like, okay, I got in the game, Pastor Sol and Pastor Brent. I signed that card. What is next for me? So what can our members expect this next upcoming weeks as they've signed this card, get in the game?
Yeah, so you should be getting contacted by whatever team leader for the teams you signed up for over the next 24 hours or so. You'll get an email from me, I think around Wednesday. I'll be sending that out to everybody that signed up. And between those two communications, we'll give you some next steps. So some of the next steps is going to be very dependent on what team you signed up for. So you signed up for the worship team. There's an audition process and all of this. You signed up for something that's dealing with next gen, kids or youth. You're going to have to do a background check. And so like there's added elements and then there's added training, right? Like, so sometimes we talk about like, hey, if you want to be a greeter, you could probably start greeting this Sunday. You'll get like a crash course.
Yeah.
You'll learn a few things as you're going, but like you're ready to, maybe you're shadowing somebody for the day, but like you're basically ready to go. I think I've talked to our children's department before, and I think the process for them is it's like a month-long process of getting in. Worship department, like sometimes that's 3 months, 6 months before you're actually like in there and serving on a regular basis. And so it really depends on the area. However, the starting point for everybody, if you haven't yet, you have to go to Growth Track.
Okay.
So Growth Track, we talked about it a little bit earlier in the show. It's our membership process, but it's more than that. So it's 4 steps, 4 classes, happens during the 9 o'clock service. Is that when we do it? 9 o'clock, right? 9 o'clock service every Sunday, like clockwork. So it's like first Sunday of the month is step 1, second Sunday of the month, step 2, third Sunday of the month, step 3, and so on and so on. So this coming Sunday would be step 1. So if you haven't done Growth Track, get here at 9 o'clock upstairs in our Growth Track room, take that class. It'll be a little bit of video teaching from me, and then a group discussion led by Marcus and their team. And so in step 1, you're learning about church membership, what it means to be a part of Disciples Church, what do we believe, how do we operate, some of the financial stuff, all the really, what I would determine as the boring stuff, but it's the stuff that like, obviously people care about.
Right.
Like, they want to know, how does this church run and what happens with the money?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of important stuff, but we also get into like our values and different things. And so it's a good class. But step 2, that's the class that I love, because step 2 is where it's less about us and now it's more about you. And really all 4 steps are about you, because it really is helping you discover your purpose and your calling and your giftings. But step 2 is where it just really gets into the weeds. So we talk about that shape that I talked about before. So your spiritual gifts, your heart, which is like the thing that you love, your abilities, what are you good at, your experiences, good and bad. I missed the P, your personality, how God has like wired you as a person. And so most people can answer 3 of those 5 things just off the bat. You know what you've experienced in life. You know where you went to school. You know your trainings. You know the trauma moment that you had. You know your experiences. You pretty much already know your heart. Like it's like, man, I love this thing, or I hate this thing. Because sometimes like our heart is really, it's the thing that just, when I hear,
don't want to do ever again.
No, it's the like you watch in the news and you see something about sex trafficking and you're like, this needs to end. Like, okay, you have a passion there, right? Or you see a child being abused, or so like it's both positive and negative again. But where your passions lie, the things that like, and for some people, man, I'm a nerd. So like my passion stuff, like I can sit with tech guys and we can just talk like infrastructure on tech for a while. Like I can nerd out with the best of them.
No thanks.
Yeah, no thank
And
you.
it's so much fun, but like I've got passion for technology. So like you already know where your passions are.
Yeah.
You also know, so what do we cover? Heart, abilities, and experiences. So you know those three, your abilities. That's the other thing that you know. I don't think I really illustrated that. So you know what you're good at. Like I know I'm not a good singer. Like, so that's not somewhere that I'm
so waiting to hear from last week. You drop a tune.
What happened last week? I was supposed
You
to
were
sing
supposed
last
to
week?
Singing? Were you
brought
singing?
I don't
No,
remember
you
that.
brought it.
That didn't happen.
No, he
Oh.
brought up that he didn't like singing. I said I want to hear to make sure he never sung a song.
Oh yeah, no, that's not gonna happen.
It's for
yeah.
your own good.
So
Oh, okay. I believe you, sister.
It's for your
it's
own good.
for your benefit. We want people to want to listen to the
Okay.
podcast ever again. And so yeah, but you know what you're good at for the most part. Like I mean, we all watched American Idol back in the day, and like somebody came up to the audition thinking that they could sing, and clearly they were wrong. So like, but for the most part, we
Yeah.
know what we're good at, what we're
Yeah.
not good at. I had a great conversation with somebody yesterday that's like, I was a math teacher for 40 years. I love tutoring kids. Is there an opportunity for me to be able to tutor kids in math? Because I really feel like, and she just went into detail of like how the
Wow.
Chicago public school system is failing kids in math.
Oh
And
my
it's
God.
Like, I was like, man, I don't know any of this stuff,
Right.
but you clearly have passion for this and you
Yeah.
clearly have ability
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
this. And so it was like, well, let me connect you with Pastor Harry and
Yeah.
let's figure out how you can be using your God-given gifts and abilities for that. So most people know what they're good at. They know what they love and they know what they've experienced. Where sometimes people are like, well, I don't know what my spiritual gifts are. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't even know what a spiritual gift is.
Right.
Or other people, and this is maybe not as true because personality profiles have become so popular.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are like, well, I don't really know what my personality type is or what that even means or how that works. And so step 2 of the growth track, we give you a personality profile. We use the DISC test, which is one of my favorites. And then we do a spiritual gifts assessment. And so you take those 2 tests. They're not foolproof. I mean, you're answering based on, your feelings in the moment. And so, they're not, and we use shorter versions. Like I think the full DISC test is like 200 something questions. We do
Wow.
like a 25 question version.
Yeah.
So like we try and get you to be able to get to the broad answer as quickly as possible. But through those 2 tests, you're going to learn a lot more about you and how you function, how you operate. One thing that I will caution people is a lot of times they step into this class and they go, okay, at the end of this class, I'm going to know what ministry I'm supposed to serve in. That's not the point. Because the reality is every personality profile, every spiritual gifts assessment can be used and needed in every area of ministry. So like, what it's not showing you is what ministry to serve in. What it is showing you is how you should be serving in that ministry, right? So if you've got your spiritual gift is administration and your personality profile is you've got a high C and a high S. So you are very thought-driven, contemplative. You're a steady relator. You're great with relationship, but it's not like you're driving for people. It's just like, hey, I can be the balance in this situation. Man, for me, I look at that result, administrative, high C, high S. You are a behind the scenes kind of person. You're organizing things, you're structuring things, you're helping out. Can that be utilized in children's ministry? 100%. Like we've got a whole supply room that needs to be reorganized like on a daily basis. We've got lesson plans that are being created week by week. Like you could be the one that comes in during the week to help make sure that every classroom has the supplies that it needs for the lesson this week.
And we used to have that when we were over kids ministry. We had a group of ladies that will come during the week. They will grab all of the paper, all of the copies, and all of the things for the crafts and everything. They will cut every single piece of paper. They will put
Wow.
everything in with the binder clips, putting them in the bins, making
Made
sure
it
that
so organized.
every
It's
single
like the teacher could come in and just take one thing out and do it.
and like
take
it's
the next thing
everything
out
is
and do it.
ready.
That's top
But
tier.
but
I know,
those
right?
for those ladies were like, do not put me in the classroom. I don't want to teach the children.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
You know,
If I
but
see
they
a
were
snotty nose, I'm running.
but they were a
Wow.
part of our children's ministry team
Yeah.
because they were there every single week making sure that all of the crafts, that all of the snacks, that all of the things were ready, but they never set a foot on
Sunday
a classroom. So
Wow.
you need those people.
Yeah.
You need those people.
We have Gen Z and millennials now. We need to train them.
But yeah, and so then conversely, like if somebody has a personality profile where they're a high I, where that's just it's very relational driven. You walk in the room and all you can see is the people in the room, and you just want to talk to the people.
That's me.
There's no agendas. Like
That's me.
it's just
That's
it's
you.
just straight like I want to be about the people. And then they also have like a high gift of helps. It's like, okay, so within the greeters ministry, like your personality is going to shine, your spiritual gift of helping others. Like we're going to give you a task that's helps based, right? And so like having that personality profile and that spiritual gift testing really does help you understand how you should be serving in an area, because that same person with the high I and the high helps gift in the greeter team, sure, that makes a lot of sense. Put them on the children's ministry team, makes a lot of sense, right? High personality, they're great with people. You could put them at the reception desk. Now they're helping people get the check-in process going. They're high I, so every time a new family comes in, it's like, hey, how you doing? It's so good to see you. Like, you don't want me as the main greeter. Like, that's not my personality profile. Like, that's not where I fit best. The way, how hard you shook your head. Sometimes you just gotta be like, no, Pastor.
Just hide him. Just hide him.
Think about it at the end.
So yeah, and look, and could you use that kind of person in the media department? Absolutely. Now, is that going to be the most traditional role in the media department? Probably not. But having that high personality, man, they're going to be great mobilizing the team. You can have them lead your team meeting at the beginning of the day. Like, so you've got places where all of these giftings can be utilized, and so we just want to make sure that you're using what God has given you. So that's all step 2. Step 3, then we get into some more details of like, what does it mean to be a leader at Disciples Church? What is like our values? How are we supposed to handle like character conduct and things like that? Because as a volunteer, as somebody serving on a team, like you are now representing the church. And so we need to represent the church well, right? And so we go through some of that. And then step 4 is it's the shortest of the lessons, I guess. Kind of puts a bow on everything, wraps it all up. But then the main emphasis of that step 4 is we do a one-on-one interview with you and just a leader of the church. It could be an elder, it could be a ministry leader, just kind of whoever's on hand. But that interview is about you. And it's figuring out, okay, tell me about yourself. Walk me through. Do you have questions about that personality profile, or is there something from these last 4 weeks that maybe isn't super clear for you? And tell me more about your story, and tell me about your salvation moment. Tell me about your baptism moment, and kind of helping learn more about you to help give you next steps. Because like I've done those interviews before where I'm talking with somebody and it's like, man, like they're just giving me like, I had this trauma moment, and then I had this trauma moment, then I had this trauma moment. And I'm like, wow, like you've gone through so much. Have you talked with our counseling department at all? Because there's some counseling programs that we have that I think would be a great next step for you that could really help you find some healing in all of this. And so being able to hear somebody's story helps you give them more customized next steps. And so I think that's the benefit of that 4th step in the growth track. So that was the long story of what happens next.
I mean, you answered
right?
all
that was
the
your
questions.
Question. That was,
all
the
the
question
questions.
was what happens next. So what happens next is
okay.
you're going to get contacted by somebody on the team. If you have not done growth track yet, we're going to tell you to go to growth track. And while you're going through growth track, we've already given this like a green light to our teams to get you in the process of joining the team. You will not be allowed to officially join a team until you have officially completed growth track. But like for children's department and stuff, they'll start your orientation, they'll start your shadowing process so that you're not having to wait the 4 weeks to finish growth track and then another 4 weeks. Like they're going to expedite things a little bit. But, yeah. And then for people that have already gone through growth track, it's a little bit quicker. And
what you can expect too, I think that is the excitement of being a part of a team. If you have never been on a team, if you have never served here at the church, I think that you will realize that it is a great place for community. It is a great place to use your gifts. A lot of people have all of these desires and they want to do something and they just never have found a space where they can actually do it. And this is the perfect place for it. And also you will be able to find that when you serve and when you put your gifts at work, when you actually use them well, like the Bible says to, and then give glory to God, you will find such a joy and plenitude that you probably were missing if you have not done it. So it's gonna be good.
Yeah. And there are perks to serving on the Dream Team. We have some special events throughout the year where we do some volunteer appreciation type stuff, some Dream Team nights, or DC Team nights, I guess is the new name for them. You also get access to the DC Team's lounge.
Yes.
Which is probably the coolest place in the church. Every time I lead somebody through there, they're like, what is this place?
Yep.
And I spoil my team. So,
well, of course
you might have some leaders.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
Yes, we have really cool leaders here, though. I would say.
We love our people.
Yes, so that is a good perk here.
There's some swag that's exclusive to serving on teams. So.
Yeah, all the benefits.
Dun, dun, dun.
So as we conclude, let's give our takeaway from yesterday's message alone. How can we encourage people, if they did not sign the card yesterday, to get in the game?
It's not too late.
Okay.
You know, that's what I would say. It's not too late. It is not just one Sunday, and if you miss that Sunday, oh well. Wait for the next one. You know, wait until we are ready to do this thing again. No, like, it is never too late to join a team. Yeah. It is never too late for you to have that aha moment that God made you with a specific thing inside that needs to be used. Yeah. You know, that you do have gifts, and you have talents, and that you have skills, and that you have passions, and that we will be doing a disservice to the purpose of God in our lives if we just sit on those.
Yeah.
You know, that I think that when you just understand, like, oh yeah, I am good at this, or I am good at that, or I really like people, but I'm just gonna sit. That is a disservice to all of the things that God has placed in you. He give you all of those things, not just so that you know that you have something. It's for you to use it. Yeah. So don't wait. Like, if the moment comes where you feel like this is like a tug in my heart that I'm supposed to be doing something, don't think twice. Don't try to wait and see if that feeling goes away. Just start serving. You were made to work.
Yes, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, you said, it's not over yet. I mean, our emphasis for the summer is really about getting in the game. So, it was a series for June. But July, we're going into At the Movies, and every movie that we picked has a team dynamic to it intentionally. So, it's all sports-related movies. And so we're going to be talking about team. And then in August, we're talking about calling. And we're looking at some character studies of different people in the Bible that were called to different things, and what that looks like for us. And so, like, really, our emphasis for the summer is getting in the game. And then come October, I don't know if this is... Are we solid? Can I spoil this one? Is this a podcast spoiler?
Go for it.
October 5th.
Ti'heasha said that this is the place to say all of the things. I don't know.
Say all of the things?
I think we should let people know why they're getting in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll talk about it. So,
or we can save it for next week. No, I'm just playing.
Nah, we'll spoil it. So, all right, so here's the big news. Starting October 5th. Is that supposed to be a drum roll?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. I love it.
That's all I
why
have.
You don't serve on
That's
the
all I
team.
have. No, actually, fun fact, I tried to play all instruments, and I was never good at any of them. I tried with the drums, I tried with the keyboard, I tried with the guitar, and I could never do it. I thought that I could sing when I was in Mexico. I was a little bit of a part of a worship team here and there. And then I came here and I heard people actually sing, and I was like, oh, I do not sing. So
I think the first set off was like, somebody was like, well, what part are you going to sing? And you were like, part?
What do you mean? I just go for it. I just feel the music and I go.
No.
Anyway, continue.
That's so funny.
All right. October 5th. Well, this podcast is so special. I love it. October 5th, we will be going from 2 services to 3 services at Disciples Church. So
where's the clapping?
Hey.
When you like,
the team is like, oh. We're just adding a third of the work.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we've had capacity issues for a while here, and
which is a wonderful problem to have.
It is, and we don't want to make it hard for people to come to Jesus, and so in an effort to make that more accessible. We wanted to launch a campus. We had to have some staffing changes, so we're not able to launch a campus in that window, but we are able to add a third service in that window. And so that should open up another opportunity for 400 or 500 people to come and learn about Jesus every week. And so, yay.
Building kingdom.
Yeah, so with that, like, you gotta get in the game, you have to start serving, and you also have to bring people that don't know Jesus. So you have a lot of work to do.
A lot.
Serve and bring people.
Yeah. I love that we say you've got a lot of work to do, because that's biblical. Our job is to prepare the people, to equip the
saints
for
the work of the ministry. Yes.
Hey,
That was so cute.
I might not know all of the Bible, but I know that one.
That was so cute. I love it.
Bye-bye.
This is just a cute moment.
Anyway,
That's violent. I need to be on the worship team. I'm gonna sign up. Let's see what happens.
I don't know how the high five equates to worship, so we're just
Is that one like this, like the violin? You didn't
I see that. Well, we had a great time with Get in the Game. This was such a fun podcast series. This was a fun episode. You guys together make a great team. Great. But we want to encourage you, continue to ask God where you should be. If you haven't joined a team at Disciples Church, we want you. We want to connect with you. We want to get to know you and be in community with you. So pray about it, and it's not too late to join. Also, watch yesterday's message that Pastor Sol preached. It was amazing, an amazing way to conclude our Get in the Game series. But we also had 2 awesome messages prior. So watch the whole sermon series if you haven't had an opportunity to do so. And until next week, chew on all of this amazing information. If you have any questions, let us know, and we'll see you next week.